I want to start off today's show with something I usually do not start off shows with, and that is Major League Baseball. We all know that currently, right now, the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers are going head to head. Now, at the time of this recording, um, Texas is up 2-0. So again, this is before game three today. Of course, Philadelphia just finished going up 2-0 and dominating the Arizona Diamondbacks in both games. And when we take a look at this ALCS and the NLCS, and I said it last week, when you take a look at these four teams, obviously Philadelphia is the only team that does not play indoors. So could weather be a factor? If we do get to the World Series, so far it's been nice enough outside that the cold weather is not hit the air in baseball, which sometimes does take a little steam out of the postseason, in my opinion, because it is all about the weather sometimes and the good pitching and the good defense. But this Philadelphia team, who of course lost in the World Series last year in a very hard-fought series against the Houston Astros, which is why even though Houston is down 0-2 because of their experience being in 7 straight ALCSs, I am not counting the Astros out. Now, even if they didn't go down 3-0, we've seen one team in MLB history do it. Obviously, the 2004 Red Sox. It wouldn't be obviously the odds not on their side, but it would not be improbable because of the fact that in baseball, we know if you can get hot, you can win 3 or 4 games in a row. And of course, Texas and Houston are both divisional rivals. But I do think this Philadelphia team over on the National League side, we talk about Texas, how good they have been this year with their defense, their timely hitting, and they've been able to shut down not only the Tampa Bay offense, which of course got off to such a hot start early in the season, but pretty much again shutting out Houston in game one, 2-0, winning that game 5-4, but not letting Houston, really get remotely close in game two to starting a huge rally and getting momentum back in that game. Houston was behind the whole game from the first inning on. I think the one thing that Philadelphia has that Texas doesn't is Philadelphia just has this anger, this flair to them that they know last year that they were a really good team, and this year they know what it takes to win. Bryce Harper has been a superstar. He is playing completely out of his mind. I've criticized Bryce Harper for years because of the fact that when he left the Washington Nationals to go to the Phillies, and I did not fault him for the move, but the year after he left, the Nationals won the World Series. And I've said this about Ohtani. I've said it about Aaron Judge. Bryce Harper may be the exception to this rule, but in baseball, and even, Nick Castellanos having a great series, and Aaron Nola for the Phillies pitched a gem in game two. We say it all the time in other sports, basketball, especially football as well. You need your stars to be stars. Well, in baseball, a guy could go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs, but if everybody else in the lineup doesn't get a hit, or your pitching is off, or you don't have a great bullpen, you're not going to win many games. Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, maybe the two best stars we've seen in the last decade for Ohtani, maybe once in a generational type baseball player, has never even sniffed the postseason. And that is sort of a problem with baseball is they don't get enough stars in the postseason, which is why I think baseball really wanted the Yankees to get in this year because of Aaron Judge. It's why they'll be rooting, obviously, for Ohtani to go to the Dodgers or somewhere else with an opportunity to make the postseason next year. But this Philadelphia team is deep, man. They have a great bullpen. They have good power hitting. They can hit for contact. They play good situational baseball. Texas is very much the same way, though I don't feel like they have the explosiveness of the Phillies. When you watch the Phillies, guys are jumping out. They can hit. They can pitch. They almost feel unbeatable. That Braves team that did beat them, of course, they only really did beat them because Bryce Harper had the base running error in game two. But that Braves team was loaded with good pitching and good hitters. They just could not get the timely hitting. It feels like it takes a lot of effort to beat 3 out of the 4 teams. Everybody but Arizona, and we know what the Dodgers do in the postseason. They choke every single year. It feels like it takes a lot to beat Houston just because of their veteran experience. They don't feel as lethal as last year. Texas feels like a team on a mission. They felt like they had the AL West division robbed of them from Houston due to their own fault at the end of the regular season. They're looking for revenge. But Philadelphia right now, and as I said last night with Josh Unger on Championship Rings, the Phillies, with everything going on in Philadelphia sports, Eagles lose the Super Bowl, Phillies lose the World Series, the meltdown of the Flyers, the meltdown of what's happening with the Sixers, James Harden, Joel Embiid. Philadelphia sports is loaded right now, and yet they've come up short a lot. They have a lot of stars in town, but I've never heard of a baseball stadium sound like a football stadium. The Phillies, to me, have the best home field environment in baseball. They look like the best team right now. And even though they struggled in April and May, and we know this about baseball, it's oftentimes not the team with the best record. We said it last week, all 4 teams in the AL and NLCS, they all have 90 or under wins. It's about who gets on. Do you have the right bullpen? Do you have the right pitching? Do you have the right timely hitting? Do you have chemistry? And again, the Phillies, to me, feel like the team of destiny this year. I still think it's Houston, Philadelphia in the World Series. I could be completely wrong on that. We have not had a World Series rematch since 78, 79 when the Yankees beat the LA Dodgers in both of those years. I think it's time in baseball. I think it would be a hell of a series. Again, I wouldn't be mad if it's Texas, Philadelphia. I think the Phillies would take care of them in 5 or 6. I think Houston, Philly would be a 6 or 7 game slugfest and one of the best World Series rematches we've seen in one of the best World Series, period. So I think it's been a very fun, entertaining playoffs. Again, I wish baseball did more to market their stars, that we knew more about these players in the regular season. But I am having a hell of a time watching it, and I think that the pitch clock and everything has made baseball potentially enjoyable once again.
Like that clip from the Brands World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brands World podcast right here on YouTube.